I think the speakers before me have laid out a lot of the major issues, right? And it's no big surprise. Where 95% of our government's revenue comes from oil. And oil in the last 10 years has been $120 a barrel and $20 a barrel, and is now around $40 a barrel. So, that us being a single commodity region, we really need to be able to figure out how we move away from our dependency on oil and really do that in a substantive way. Another thing that's, I think, particular to our region and coupled with the low commodity price is a demographic shift. We have the second youngest population in the world after sub-Saharan Africa. So we have this incredible youth bulge that's coming up that has demands on the government, demands to live like the generations before them, and the government with a shrinking stream of revenues coming in. So how do we address that? How do we make this a brighter future for tomorrow? And the good news is I do think there is a brighter future for tomorrow. Because in every country, there needs to be the urgency and the impetus for change. When Singapore sat there and said, okay, we're just a refueling depot for the British Navy and have no fresh water, have no natural advantage, but then turned itself into one of the global technology financial hubs, they did it born out of necessity, and they did it born out of strong leadership. And the good news is we have tremendous leadership here in Kuwait. We've seen some of them standing here talking today. His Highness the Emir has laid out the vision for Kuwait, being a leader in the financial sector. We have the safest banking sector in the region with an average capitalization ratio of 17.5, amongst the highest in the world. So we have a great basis for which to grow off of this. And if you look at how do we address this youth issue, I think it comes in three parts. One, entrepreneurship. We need to have more of our young people go out there and be entrepreneurs. And there's some things we need to fix along the way here. I think one is our education system. Our education system needs to stop being one of memorization to one of critical thinking, to one where people can go out and rather than just filling young minds with as much information as they can hold, rather teach young minds how to challenge the status quo. Because every great company, Your Excellency, you mentioned some companies today, Uber, Airbnb, all brought up by young entrepreneurs who saw the world in a different way, who challenged the status quo. And unless you teach young minds how to think in that way, how to challenge, how to, rather than memorize, how to think, that changes our population. And given our demographic shift, 64% of our population is below the age of 30. We have to do that with the utmost urgency. I see many ministries going around making changes because of the low oil prices. And we talk about fuel subsidies and things like that, which I think are good. But I think the greatest urgency should be with our Ministry of Education and making sure that we have the right KPIs. Because as bankers here and as financial people, we all know you get what you measure. And what we measure is how many teachers we have and how many classrooms we have. We don't measure the quality of our teachers. We don't measure the quality of the education that our young people are receiving. And unless we educate our young people and give them the skills required in the 21st century to be part of an interconnected world, that is priority number one. And then I think there's a role for the private sector.
Let me, please. You were about to come in there.